When I was young were really my problems. When I've grown older, they become my strengths. Like when I was young, when I was under 10 years of age, I was a daydreamer. I would just dream of all kinds of things that were completely impossible to do. And I was just dream about being a king or a president or famous or something without doing anything about it. And people criticized me for just daydreaming and not doing anything. But today, when I'm a CEO of a company and we need to do strategic planning, I'm very good at strategic planning, and I can think through all the scenarios in the strategy quickly because I spent my childhood daydreaming. So I'm used to maintaining in my brain all kinds of crazy plans, whether they are possible or not. And what as a kid was a problem for me because everybody else were doing things and I was just daydreaming. Now is my strength because I'm good at strategic planning, I'm good at scenario planning. I can think about 15 different alternatives and pick one because I learned to daydream when I was a kid. I also was very stubborn. I was so stubborn that my parents had problems with me and my siblings felt I was a difficult sibling because I would never agree with them and I was always just sort of driving my own ideas. Today, as a CEO, being stubborn is really useful. I go in and negotiate deals with others or pursue some business partnership, and the fact that I'm stubborn, I'm not as stubborn as back then, I'm not as poorly behaved as I was as a kid, but I have the strength to get a business relationship built and I don't give up. I keep going until it happens. So again, what was a problem for me when I was young is now sort of turning out to be a strength of mine. So it's funny how when we are young we think that we are not good enough or we worry. Young people nearly always want to be like their friends. We all would like to be like the most popular person in school and we try to dress the same way and we have the same hoodies or t-shirts or baseball caps or shoes or whatever, sneakers, because we want to be like everybody else. But later in life, when you do something amazing, it doesn't come from all the things where you were similar to your friends, but it comes from the things where you were different from your friends. And you don't see it when you're young, you're just worrying why you are different. But when you grow older, you are thankful that you're different because you have something that nobody else has and you can do something unique that the others cannot because they didn't go through the same suffering or they didn't have to fight as hard or they didn't have such a long school way or whatever it is. It can be anything. And that's why I love being CEO of HackerOne because we have 100,000 hackers all over the world who help companies find their bugs and their vulnerabilities. 100,000. And most of them are under the age of 24. And the youngest we've seen so far is 10 years old. Is there somebody here who's 10 years? Or a little bit older maybe? Yes, exactly. You've already been 10 years. The youngest hacker we've seen is 10 years. I just spoke to one who's 13. He lives in Pakistan. He's 13 years old. He has found bugs in companies in America. He has been paid for them. He has gotten bounties, $100 or $500, and he's coming to visit us here in San Francisco. Of course, he's 13 years old, so his father must join him as well. But they are coming here on a business trip to visit HackerOne. And these hackers, nearly all of them are really, really smart, so they are intelligent, but they're also very, very curious. So they keep looking at software and looking for what's wrong with software until they find something. So just keep looking until they find something. And they have this tenacity and not giving up. And I'm sure their parents are telling them to go to bed, and they go to bed, but actually they have their laptop and smartphone and they keep hacking and reading throughout the night, and then in the morning they look a bit tired. But they do that and they find the bugs, they report them through HackerOne, and nearly all of our hackers are somehow a little bit misfits, because they grow up somewhere where their family may not understand what hacking is. Their friends may think that hacking is bad and dangerous and is a criminal activity. Although they do ethical hacking, they do white hat hacking where you do it to help someone. And the society around them doesn't understand it. So people just don't get what they do. But when they sign up with HackerOne, they suddenly find many friends who do the same thing, and they can share comments and help each other, and they can look for the vulnerabilities, and when they find them, they can get a reward from the company. Now, if you become a hacker on HackerOne, and you don't have to, you can do anything you like in your lives. If you do, you should know it's not easy. We have 100,000 who have signed up and said, I want to be a hacker. But only 15,000 have ever filed a real report with us. So most of our hackers haven't gotten that far yet. They're still working on figuring out, okay, how do I find the bug? How do I test it? How do I know it's a real bug? So although it's a wonderful job, I don't want you to think it's an easy job to do. No job is easy, but hacking, security hacking particularly, takes a lot of creativity and curiosity, and you have to learn a lot about technology. But everybody can do it. Like my 13-year-old friend in Pakistan, Asan Tahir, or our friends in Morocco, Russia, Holland, Belgium, Sweden, Finland, America, Chile, Argentina, they're all over the world. So anyhow, when you do something with your life and you think about your hobbies or something, I truly believe that it is the way you are different from everybody else that ultimately will help you do something amazing. And your friends may not appreciate you for it. They may actually make fun of you. They may make fun of you that you are too detail-oriented, or they make fun of you that you are too fast, or they may make fun of you that you play games all the time, or whatever they make fun of you. But in reality, when you do a lot of one thing, you develop a skill and something that can be useful in the future. And gaming is one such thing. I know many teachers and adults who say that gaming is not good. You should go out and play and be outside and play football and sort of do that. And I agree. A human being must be out in nature and do a lot of stuff outdoors. But playing games is very good for our creativity, for hand-eye coordination, for thinking, for all kinds of things. And I believe that in the future, games will be used much more, not just for entertainment, but for education, for teaching people. Like how do you teach people the fastest how to fix an engine or how to repair a ship? At some point we'll do that through games, so that we learn through games and we show it through games. So actually gaming is very useful to do. Not all the time, and not like, I don't know how many hours you play games per day. But even that can be a very useful thing for as you develop your skills. Because at some point you will grow up, and then there aren't people taking care of you all the time. And you have to figure out your own career and how you pay for your own food and living and everything. And at that point, you would ideally want to be an expert in something, where you're really good and you are one of the best in what you know and what you do, so that people come to you and say, can you help me, because you are so good at it. You know gaming, can you help me with this game? You know hacking, can you help me with this? You know computers, you know whatever it is. You paint so well or you sing so well. Whatever you're learning, if you can learn it to a level where you're really good, then you can do anything. And like I said, I grew up in Finland, and I did well in school and did well there, but it also was because I had special skills that I could move all the way from Finland with my family here and continue working in a completely new country and also be successful here. Because I've learned many languages, I knew business, I knew how to do all kinds of things. And that allowed me to come here and become a Californian and build amazing things here with amazing people that I was not used to. You know, Finland is a place where there are not many foreigners and everybody looks the same, everybody is the same, nearly everybody is blonde and belongs to the Christian church and goes to the same school and has the same traditions. So it's a very homogeneous country where It's rare that there's diversity. And then you come here and there's diversity in every possible dimension, which I think is a very good strength. It's when to build the strongest team, you need strong diversity. It's important that you are not all the same. You have to be all different to be really strong. And if you look at the team we have at HackerOne, it's a hugely diverse team. So, and again, diversity on every axis, gender diversity, ethnic diversity, diversity in background. So we are really, the HackerOne company we're building as a group of really different people who come together. But there are some ideas we completely agree on. We can't be different on every single aspect. So we have what we call the company values. So we wrote down what we think is important for everyone. And one thing we said is that being open is important to everybody, transparency as it is called. So we said every time we do something, we must try to make it open to everybody. We can make exceptions and keep it secret or closed, but then that's the exception. The rule is that everything should be shared. So in the company, whatever happens, it should be shared with everybody, and if I don't share it with everybody, my employees will come to me and say, "But Martin, we said that openness is an important value. Why don't you share this information with us?" And then I have to explain why I'm not sharing it, and maybe I have a good reason. But we have agreed that we start by making everything open for everyone. And another thing we've decided at HackerOne is that we win as a team. And it sort of means two things. First, it means we want to win. We really see this, we see business as a sport. We want to win. We are doing the business because it's fun and it's useful and it's making the world a better place, but we also want to win. We want the gold medal. But when we win, we want to win as a team. So we don't want just one person to win. It's not just one person's victory, it's everybody winning as a team. So we work together, and if one person succeeds at HackerOne, one person does something wonderful, then we say it's everybody's victory. It's everybody who is winning. So let's say we have a salesperson in the company who is closing a deal with a new customer, and we get a great new customer on board. Of course, that person who did the deal will be thanked for it and will even get a financial reward. But the whole company is celebrating because we are winning as a team. So it's everybody's winning. So we have these rules. We have just 5 such rules that we follow. And then everything else can be diverse. In everything else we can be different. So we have in the company, we have tall people, short people, dark people, light people. We have people from different countries, people of every other thing is different. And that's how we build a strong team, because we believe that this diversity is what gives us the best ideas, by mixing from every possible person and all their ideas and what they have to bring to the table. And that's different typically from when it is for anybody in school, because when we go to school, we mostly go to school with people who live in the same neighborhood or people who are the same something. But once you get into business, that stops. Suddenly you don't have that. Like, I'm the only one from Finland in this company, but then we have somebody who is from France, and somebody is from the United States, and somebody is from there and here. But when we were young, of course, we were in groups where we were all similar. So then, when you start developing, then when you get serious about your professional life, and you don't have to do that yet, you're so young, so you should just have fun. And if people tell you that you need to work harder, just ignore them, because this is your only time you're young, so just have fun. That is my advice to anybody who is younger than 15. There will be a lot of time for you to be really serious and work hard. So just make sure you are doing things that you really enjoy, and break some rules and ignore the adults every now and then. But then when you do grow up, I think that what's important for everybody is what I call leadership. And by leadership, I don't mean that everybody must become a president of the United States and that sort of leader. I mean leadership as taking responsibility. And I mean that every human being must take a little bit of responsibility. Not everybody must take a lot, but everybody must take a little bit. And if you take a little bit more responsibility than anybody expected you to do, then that's leadership. Like in your class, if there's something you're doing and your teacher tells you to do something, and then one of you does a little bit more. Maybe one of you helps everybody else, or one of you cleans up afterwards, or one of you does something like that. That's taking more responsibility than was expected. And when you're doing that, you are a leader. That's a leader. That's the definition of a leader, is the person who does a little bit more than was expected. And you don't have to do much, just a little bit. And when you start doing that, that's how you find what you are really interested in, because you keep doing this thing. And some of you will sit there saying, why is it always me helping the rest? Why is it always me writing the report and my friends don't do it? And you feel it's unfair. It is unfair, but it's unfair to them. Because you are becoming a leader and you are learning something, you're taking responsibility. It will be good for you. It will be bad for them. Because 5 years from now, when you go to college or when you go to work or something, then the fact that you were doing it is what helps you do well in school or in work or whatever you do. So this act of taking responsibility, although you don't think about it when you do it, it is actually what turns you into leaders. And then you can every day, every year, take a little bit more responsibility. And suddenly, you can be a business leader. And you can be a startup CEO or a startup entrepreneur, and you can build a company. And when people come to you and say, how did you become a leader? How did you become a startup entrepreneur? You just say, I don't know. It just happened. And it just does happen, but it happens because somehow when you grew up, you always did a little bit more. Like maybe you're hacking, and you say, okay, I'll give up hacking now, I can't find a market. But then you say, no, I'll hack 1 more hour. It's already 2 a.m. in the morning, but I'll hack until 3 a.m. And that's a little bit crazy, but hackers are a little bit crazy. And you do that, and most of the time you will fail, but at some point, when you do it many times, you have developed tenacity, you have developed an ability to keep doing it, which is very good. Or you do something else, but you take responsibility for a little bit more than anybody asked you to do. And I'm saying this to you, I didn't do it. When I was young, I was very lazy. I always did less than people asked me to do. So, like my mother forced us to completely take care of ourselves. We had to make our bed, make our food, help cleaning the house, all of those things. I always did less than she asked for. So I'm a little bit ashamed, but that's the fact. I did not like doing it, but she forced me to do it, so I had. But then the moment I moved away from home, I sort of course I took care of me and everything, but as soon as I could, I got help with doing it because I really didn't like it. So I was super lazy. But in other areas, I took more responsibility. So you can't be perfect in everything you do. But when you do this, then you become a leader just automatically. And then if you like, you can be an entrepreneur and you can build a startup company. And we talk a lot about this. There are many other things you can do in life. You can go into government, you can be a police officer, you can go into the army, you can work for a big company. But there's something special with startup companies in that the world is changing very much now. And you may think that you're so young that you don't understand the world, but it's not true. You do understand the world. It's us of my age who don't understand the world. Because when we grew up, there were no computers, there was no internet, there was no Google. We couldn't Google things. We couldn't text each other. We couldn't Snapchat each other. We had none of that. So now as the world has become digital and connected, all us who are over 50 years of age, we don't understand it, but you do. So therefore, if there's a good time to start new companies, startup companies, and build your own thing, it's things that we could never think of because we don't have the idea. So therefore, I think it's a great thing to do, to be a startup entrepreneur and try some business and maybe fail 7 times and then succeed on the 8th. but build those businesses. And you can do it if you become a leader, if you start taking responsibility for anything. Because in a startup company, you need all kinds of people. You need somebody who can develop code, somebody who can sell, somebody who can take care of all the people, somebody who can take care of all the money. You need somebody who's helping the others, you need somebody who's helping customers. You need many different types of people in a startup company. And when to do this, to really be successful, you must start believing in something in the company, something that's bigger than yourself. Then, when you are at that age and doing it, it's not enough to just think about yourself. You must think about something bigger. What is something that's so big that everybody will need it, or it will affect everybody? Like Airbnb, who are here now and we are hacking them. Airbnb started by just renting out one room in one home and saying, hey, you can rent this room and pay me a little bit of money. But they had a bigger idea to think that everybody who has an extra room in their home can rent it to anybody in the world. And then it's a very big topic, a very big thing. And now Airbnb is a giant company and very successful because all over the world, when you travel, you can stay in an Airbnb room or home. And all over the world where people have more space at home than they need, they can rent it out through Airbnb. That's enormous. But I'm sure, I don't know the founders of Airbnb, but I'm sure 20 years ago, they could have sat here and be just 12-year-old, 14-year-old kids thinking about what the world could be. So you must believe in something really big. And when you believe in something big, again, your friends will be your problem, because they will make fun of you. When you say that you have a big dream to do something, all your friends will say, that's stupid, that's not possible, you're naive, you should do some real work instead. And for us entrepreneurs, we always have people who say it's not possible. So we must have this decision and strength inside to just do it. Because everybody will say, no, that's stupid, it won't work. And of course, many times it is true, it won't work. Many startups don't work, but you must believe in something bigger that you are going after. And when you do that, then you also need somebody who believes in you more than you believe in yourself. Because when you start doing something really difficult in your life, and it can be in sports or arts or politics or a startup company, when you do something really difficult, at some point you will want to give up. You will say, okay, this is too hard, I'm failing too much, it's not working, I'm now giving up, I must do something else, I'm not good enough. And when that happens, you must have somebody else who believes in you more than you do. Somebody who says, stop whining, just get back to work. Or who says, come here and I'll make you feel good again. And these people will help you not give up just when it feels the hardest. Because if you give up, then you will never be successful. Sure, if you don't give up, it doesn't mean it's getting easy, but we must, human beings, every human being has moments when they want to give up, and then we need somebody else who says, don't give up. It can be anybody. It can be a mother, a father, a friend, a dog, a cat, the bus driver. I don't care who it is, just somebody who says, don't stop doing it. And when you do that, then you can become super successful, and you look back and say, wow, I really become strong and I really have the energy and drive to do things. Although I thought that I was just average and I didn't have many skills that actually you can develop. And when you can do that, you can do anything you like. You can build a great business, you can sell it for a lot of money, you can build a next business, you can go work for a company, or you can work in a school, you can work in government, you can do anything you like. You can go traveling for a year, whatever it is. That will happen when you learn not to give up and when you learn to build your skills. And then at some point you will have new skills that you didn't know you had. Like, I know that when I was there were many skills I don't have. You think now that I have certain skills, and I do. I didn't have them when I was young. I was really bad at negotiating when I was young. And in my first years of business, I was so stupid. I made so many stupid deals that I failed. but I've learned now to negotiate deals well. And I have other things that as a young person, I just had no clue about. I was far too naive to get anything real stuff done. I'm still naive, but less so. But that's also why you go to startup companies, because you can be a little bit more naive in startup companies, because they do amazing new things. So that's how I think when you think about leadership and innovation, and when you look at all these amazing people, you see Mark Zuckerberg, who started Facebook. He was a regular kid. But he didn't give up. And he kept doing it and building it from when he was very young. And he's still doing it. Like, how old was he when he started working on Facebook? 20? 19? Maybe 19? And how old was he when he started programming? Maybe 16, 15? Because I was the CEO of MySQL, a product that they use at Facebook. And I once met Mark Zuckerberg. And I said, so Mark, tell me, when you started coding Facebook, why did you choose MySQL? Why did you choose that product? Why didn't you choose something else? And he looked at me as if I were stupid, and I am stupid. And he said, Martin, I grew up on MySQL. So he had been developing software on MySQL many, many years before. So for him it was obvious he would use our product. And of course that's also one reason why our company was so successful, because it was used by Facebook and Google and Yahoo and everybody. Wikipedia, they all used it, still use it. So that's my thinking on innovation and leadership and startups and what we can do. And I will be very happy if all of you become interested in security hacking and you start looking for bugs in programs, because it's a very cool thing to do. But if you do something else, I will be equally happy. But I won't be happy if you don't decide to do something special.